The way the law stands, 215, it was redefined by what was called 420, which is its Health and Safety Code 11.362.7 to .83, I think. But within that Health and Safety Code, it allows for cities and counties to pass ordinances on medical cannabis, provided those are passing ordinances on would normally require a business license. That doesn't mean somebody who is growing a small garden for themselves, but somebody who's growing for a commercial purpose. That's where I see the dividing line. There are people indeed growing for commercial purposes. The meeting down at the Veterans Hall showed that. I think you've got a lot of time before the next crop gets planted, time to craft an ordinance that won't get turned over by the Supreme Court, that addresses the needs of people living next door to 99 plant grows, also addresses the majority of the people that are growing very small amounts for their personal use. I don't think it all has to be thrown into one basket. I think that the law provides for you to be able to deal with the commercial grows and leave the individual grows alone and intact, knowing that if you pass laws that have jail time to them, you might end up putting sick people in jail, and I don't think anybody here wants that to be the end result. So I guess the last ordinance you passed was based on one document, a white paper by the California Police Chiefs Association. I'd like to see you get a little more involved in it than that and look at a lot different directions. I read that particular document, and it's a little one-sided, to say the least. I think you need to look at it and pass an ordinance that will pass muster if it does get to the Supreme Court. I think some of you are aware of what's going on in Fresno. If that goes to the Supreme Court, it's going to be a real dodge. I don't think that will go. But I think we need to take the time to do it right without hurting people, instead of just considering one document and passing it. Thank you very much for your time.
Hi, I'm McCain. When I was coming into town today, I was listening to the 870 station, and it stated there that Reno, I guess, evidently has the law in effect. And they said that there was a special program today at 5 o'clock called Behind the Green Door. Behind the Green Door. And asked people to listen to it. So I was just trying, the more information we have, the better off we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to talk under public comment? Okay, well, thank you. Let's quickly take up our unagendized board report.
Well, I attended the veterans ceremonies yesterday, and they were uplifting, to say the least. The support the community gives for our veterans is phenomenal, and I thank everybody who supports the veterans. Larry gave a good speech. I had to hand it to him. You did a good job, Larry.
Well, thank you. It was a bit of a surprise not knowing what the format was, but I quickly figured out I was going to need to say something. So fortunately, the words came. I think the words from us. Not having anything prepared, a lot of times it works out better like that. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I also attended the Veterans Program, and I was going to say that the chairman represented the county well, and I appreciate your impromptu remarks, and you definitely have seasoned in your short tenure. You did a good job, and it was a nice program, and the speaker that they had was first sergeant. He's 42 years experience with the military, both the National Guard, and he got in and got out, and he went to another unit, and he's been a 27-year employee at the Southern County Sheriff's Department, and he kind of basically captured what it was like to be a veteran coming home from Vietnam, and just the experience that he's had over the last 40 years, and the turnaround and attitude that the county country has had towards its veterans, and it really made you feel proud for the effort that all of our veterans have put forward. I'd like to ask at my kind of discretion, and I haven't made an allocation yet, but I'd like to have $1,000 set aside for the Lassen Library District and also $500 for the Lassen County Arts Council. Those are two amounts that I annually so we usually get to do this early on. That's all.
Thank you. Supervisor Alba? Yes, thank you. I too attended the Veterans Program. There was actually up there in Big Valley, there was two of them. The first one was on Monday, which was at the school. Which the school puts on. I think it was their 6th one this year. They had some special guests this year. They had Susan Megman, who's the chairman, assemblywoman. She served with Brian Daly, but she's the chair on the Ag Committee. She's on the Veterans Committee and the Professional Business Committee as well. I think she came up with Mr. Daly. Richard Egan was there. Dean Growden, the sheriff. Our assessor, Dan, was there. He's also a veteran, so he got to participate in the program. And there was also 3 American Legion area commanders. They were up there for the Legion, for the school. So it was very well attended. They did a good job. It was an excellent program that the vets put on, and it was also an excellent program that the kids put on for the veterans. It was well received. And then yesterday on Veterans Day, the Intermountain Cattlemen and Boulder Big Valley Cattlemen, they sponsor lunch for all the veterans, and they come up and have lunch. So we did that. Let's see. I will not be here for the next meeting on the 25th. And then reading the pass-around file, Richard, we need to make some comments on the lead ammunition ban, the fishing game, for the banning of all lead, because that's just going to be a disaster, especially as a landowner that's inundated with ground squirrels, and we have no control other than lead ammunition right now. We're strict island and we're getting overrun. Little Valley, I saw Tom Esgate yesterday. He's working on another project up there. He's went through the DWR, Department of Water Resources. They put out $200 million in grants throughout the state, and he's got a good grant to help their CSD over there with their water problem. So we all got to visit when we went over there.
Are you going to get the people to pay their water bill?
I don't know.
Well, that was there.
That was a big problem, but they also have
They
some
only
other
had 4 people wanted to pay, and everybody else thought it was for free.
I know. But anyway, so he's working with them to get some funding. They got some funding through the DWR, and anyway, they've got almost $1 million from the DWR grants to Lassen County. So that's all good. And then the other thing, just so you guys know, Hayden Hill, they're having to go back and redo some of their water stuff. Their leach pad isn't working like they said it would, and it's contaminating the groundwater. They're having to go back and redo some stuff, so anyway, I just want to let you guys know that some of my issues and concerns that I had way back when are coming to fruition, so anyway, they're having to go back and redo it, so we need to keep an eye on that. That's all I have. Thank you.
I'll quickly say about the Veterans Day Parade. Yeah, it was totally awesome. My little guy Graham, he couldn't quit talking about it. All the soldiers with all the guns. It was all the whole night. But
there were a lot of young kids in the parade that at the program. That's always good to see.
It was incredible. Yeah, I appreciate the comments about the speech, and I want to thank Supervisor Pyle for giving me the opportunity, this year to be chair. And there's been a few good things that have come along with it, and being able to do that presentation yesterday was one of them. And I want to thank you, Rob. That was nice, kind of you to do what you did, and let me experience this before I go on my merry way. Thank you. And I could do this without my glasses, but I guess what I have a couple of things I'd like to request we could agendize for the next meeting. One of them I was going to bring up under the item F1, but since we're not going to do that, I'd like at the next meeting to agendize the the appeal process time. I know we discussed this a few months back, and then with the election and stuff coming, but right now, well, it's been a 2-year deal, and I think I'd like to see it, perhaps we could, 90 days is more appropriate. I know, being somebody that's been, caught in that mix, and got some big supplemental tax bills, and only to be told that if I, didn't like it, it'd take 2 years to get a hearing. I don't think that's the best way to serve the community. So I'd like to, is that possible to get that on the 25th?
Mr. Chairman, it's possible that, as we've done in the past, I've extended invitations to the elected officials that are in charge of that process. And because of their schedules and so on, they've declined, but I'd be happy to do that again, invite them to come and discuss that process.
Yeah. But ultimately, I mean, it's up to the board. It's one thing, we could extend the invitations, and if they decline or say they can't because of this, because of that, or because of that, it's not right that this board allows that. It's a 2-year deal, and it shouldn't be 2 years. And we need to get it on the agenda, and without any further delay, as I see it, hopefully.
Well, we can agendize it and invite them, and if they can't make it, then we can have a discussion without them. There are limited actions that we can take. They are elected officials, and they have certain powers, but we can discuss all that.
Bring us what our limited actions consist of.
And if they decline to come and participate, so be it. But I think then the public needs to know where to place the blame, because I think the public places a lot of the blame on us 5, and that's not the case as far as I'm concerned. I want to help get this to a fair duration where you don't have to wait 2 years.
I will say that with Mr. Burns' involvement over the last 6 months, I think the time frame for processing appeals has drastically shrunk to, I believe it's less than 6 months. Maybe Mr. Burns can comment on that, but don't think in any case it's taken 2 years unless it's by request of the appellant.
Yeah, but basically, it's not agendized for today, so I don't know what to get into to be exhaustive. Suffice to say, there's been a concerted effort to take that delay and basically eliminate it. There were 2 assessment appeals hearing dates in October, and there's 2 more set for January. And so it's my distinct desire to eliminate it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, first prize would be for when a member of the public has a dispute. They could be told, have guidelines. It's going to take up to 90 days, and this is what you need to do. And it shouldn't be like a big mystery how long it's going to take. So, thank you. Appreciate that.
We can agendize that.
Okay, thank you. The other thing I made a note of during Eileen Spencer's public comment was that perhaps we should bring development points, and maybe we could put it on our next agenda to get a report back on the progress of that.
The granting consistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And without researching it, I'm confident that our auditor has not allowed any elected official, including the clerk, to expend funds that were not properly appropriated.
Right. Yeah, but I do know that I remember that the board action to update the system and stuff. So just an update how it's going. Is it full function or if not? Things are good.
There was a training process involved with that.
They've gone through a lot of training, and frankly, I'm not exactly sure what the system is not.
Can we get an update on that?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's all I had. So, thanks. Okay. What we'll do is we'll take up our 10 o'clock item, and then we'll have our recess. So we'll move on to item D1.
We're going to postpone that one to the 25th.
Proclamation as well, and F1. Okay. All right. We'll take our 10:25 recess.